Hey everyone, so I've got Maddie with me today and we're going to be talking about having cancer and having cancer as a young person. But before we get into the cancer stuff, I thought it'd be nice to just list 3 things that we love, 3 things that I love, and then 3 things that you love, just to start off the video a little bit more lighthearted and also to give you a chance to get to know Maddie a little bit since it's, a short video. To start us off, I love chocolate, I love playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I also love those dog spotting type of Facebook groups where everyone just posts amazing photos of their dogs and it's super cute and it makes Facebook a lot more bearable when I just have really cute puppies all over my feed. Yeah.
Awesome.
And you?
I like music. I love going op shopping.
Op shopping?
And I like going to festivals and gigs. Yes.
So what cancer were you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with stage 4 rhabdomyosarcoma cancer.
Rhabdomyosarcoma.
Sarcoma.
Sarcoma.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah. And what does the sarcoma represent? What does it...
So there's a type of cancer that's like, it's a sarcoma family. So there's like also osteosarcoma. And I'm not too actually educated on the sarcoma families, only mainly on mine. But it's in the childhood cancer, mainly that's where sarcomas are mainly.
And like, where does it start? Like, I know for me having Hodgkin lymphoma, like the lymphoma start in the lymph nodes. Do you know where sarcoma?
Sarcomas can start pretty much anywhere within the body. So it can start, mine started in my pelvis in just a free space within my pelvis. So it was growing in there. It can also attach onto limbs, onto bones.
Okay.
And also into like your lymph nodes all around here and also in your face and sometimes even in your brain.
Yeah, so it can go anywhere. That's awful.
Yes.
And how old were you when you got diagnosed?
I was 17 and I was 3 months out from my 18th birthday. So I just graduated from high school 2 weeks. 2 weeks before I was diagnosed. I graduated from high school. Yeah. And
what treatment did they prescribe you? What did you have to go through?
I was immediately undergo very intensive treatment. My doctor was very keen to get me started immediately as I was only given 3 months to live at the time, as it was almost terminal. And yeah, I pretty much started that same week that I was diagnosed, and one of the most heaviest chemotherapies that are out there, to have pretty much non-stop for 12 months and only have maybe an odd 2-week or 1-week break in between them, and then go on to do radiation as well. So.
And was that every week? Did you get a dose of it, or is it every day? How does it work in terms of doses?
So it worked in more 6-week kind of intervals. So I would have different chemos each week for 6 weeks, and some of them, 1 week I would be in hospital for 4 days, and then the next would be I would come in for a day in the day unit and have one that goes intravenously, obviously, and that would happen throughout the course of the day, or there would also be a 2-day one, and then I'd have a week break after the 6 weeks and then do it all over again. And
you had to be inpatient? You had to be at the hospital all times, or?
Yeah. All the time. There was no home chemotherapy or anything like that. It was all had to be done in hospital.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's really hard. I guess I was lucky in that sense that while I had to have the chemo at the hospital, I was able to go back home.
That's good.
Yeah, be able to recover in your room and, in those kind of familiar spaces. And so that was 12 months and radiation was an additional...
So radiation was in the 12 months.
Okay.
But I was also having chemotherapy at the time of...
at the same time.
Radiation. So I had radiation for 6 weeks. And that was at the 6-month mark. So it was about halfway through my treatment where they could get a better understanding of how much, I guess, the tumour had shrunk by then and the area of where the mass was, I guess.
And how did you find out that something wasn't quite right? How did the doctors diagnose you? What symptoms did you have leading up to it?
My cancer actually pushed out of my skin. So I had the mass was pushing out of my lower part of my pelvis, probably, I guess you could say, on my bikini line as well. And it was hard like a rock. And I deteriorated so quickly in the space of probably 2 to 4 weeks, where I couldn't even walk up, 1 flight of stairs. I was collapsing and head spins and sleeping probably like 15 hours a day. You know, that's definitely not normal for a
No, and in
17-year-old.
such a short period of time too.
Yeah.
Like I know for some people it can be a very long time
Yeah.
of not quite knowing what's happening.
Mm.
But that seems, very intense and in a short period.
Yeah, I had no idea that was happening. They're very fast growing. That's another thing. Sarcomas are really fast growing. So they think that it was there for about 12 months or 6 to 12 months,
Okay.
I guess hiding. And then it just one day grew and grew and grew very rapidly. So like in the 2 to 4 weeks, it grew about, I think it was about 3 centimeters,
Yeah.
which made a massive difference.
So it's kind of like dormant a little bit and then it just goes a bit crazy.
Yeah. It was slowly going to attack both my cervix, my left thigh, my bowel, my bladder. I also lost control of my bladder and my bowel as well. So that was a big one.
Sucks.
Yeah.
And when this was happening, were you able to get onto treatment pretty quickly? Like were you able to go to the doctor be able to do a quick test and you kind of on your way to treatment? Or was it a difficult process with the doctors? Because I know sometimes getting diagnosis can be even hard when people know that something's not right and the doctors aren't listening.
Well, because the mass was pushing out of my body, they were so quick. So when I first initially went into the hospital, I think within the hour of the doctor seeing me, it was like straight into, I think about 4 or 5 scans, bang, bang after each other.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until the next day that they had told me, yes, you have cancer, but we're not sure. They originally thought it was lymphoma, but rhabdomyosarcoma affects about 20 people a year here in Australia. So that was probably their last thing on their mind.
Very rare, yeah.
But yeah, it came back with rhabdo.
Yeah.
And it was pretty difficult, I think, because I originally was diagnosed at Randwick Children's Hospital and I live on the Central Coast, so I'm kind of in between Randwick Children's Sydney Hospital and Newcastle John Hunter, and it would have been more easier for both myself and my family to access John Hunter Hospital's facilities and the doctors up there. So we worked out something with Randwick and they were really good to us and sent us up to John Hunter to the oncology children's ward there and got onto it. I think within the week it was all...
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that they were so fast to turn around and get you the treatment that you obviously needed as soon as possible. It's just a shame that sometimes, it can be kind of complicated I know, for some people. So I'm glad that at least for you it was quick. They got onto it. They were serious about it from the get-go.
Yeah.
And so is treatment finished now? Are you cancer-free at the moment?
Yes, I am. I've been cancer-free
so
for about... I've actually got scans coming up at the end of March, so it will be the 16th month mark since my last dose of treatment.
That's amazing. That's really good.
And
your hair's growing back.
Yes, slowly but surely. It was a bit permy at one stage. I had a bit of a perm happening as my hair was going straight up from the chemo.
Last time we saw each other, your hair was more like the crown, like there's kind of a crown around. Yeah. It was very beautiful, but it was definitely very out. Perm,
was it dropping anytime soon?
No, but now it's kind of dropped a bit more and you have that. It's just a different look. You're evolving. You're
constantly. Yeah.
Well, I'm really, really glad to hear that you've been cancer-free for that period of time. And with your checkups, are they on a certain interval, like monthly, or how do they work?
I had 3-month interval for the first 12 months after treatment finished, and now it's gone to 4 months. But he wants to keep it at 4 months for probably the next 2 years. Yeah. As my cancer has a very high relapse rate, and that relapse rate also means most likely terminal. So my doctor's very like, I want to get onto it. I'm not letting you go anytime soon. Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, it'll be the 3-year mark till I get to 6 months, and then not till 5 years. I'll probably do yearly checkups. Yeah.
I know for at least Hodgkin's lymphoma, it's once every 3 months, meant to be I think for the first 2 years, and then it becomes every 6 months, and then after that it's up to you. And everyone's really different with it, but I can't see myself not wanting to do at least yearly after that. Definitely. Like I know the risk is quite small once you've reached at that point. But even so, I don't know. I think I would just want to go every year for my own peace of mind. I can't imagine not going at all.
And suppressing that doubt, no matter all that.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, that just seems a bit too scary. I'd rather just go for that inconvenience. And, it is anxiety inducing, like leading up to it and all that. But there's something really nice in like leaving that appointment and being like, no, it's all good. There's no reason to worry. I think that'd be important for me to keep that up after, even if the doctors are like, it's okay. You don't have to come in anymore. And with your checkups that you have, are they blood tests? Are they x-rays? Or what kind of normal kind of test do they do for you?
I have mainly MRI scans and CT scans, and also blood tests as well here and there, but mainly just MRI and CT scans.
So a bit more involved.
Yes. MRIs, I'm a bit of a claustrophobic, so I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to the MRI scans, and laying there, I think, for such a long amount of time is just not good. No. So what was one of the harder things that you had to deal with in treatment, and how did you manage it, or how did you get through that difficult part? I would say radiation was the most horrific part of my treatment, and it only went for 6 weeks. I didn't even make it actually to the 6-week point of the amount of treatment I was supposed to have, as it was just too horrific. I had radiation to my pelvis, so it is possibly one of the most horriblest parts of your body to ever get radiation put out, especially as, I guess, a woman. Like everything is down there, and all your main organs, I guess, sit in that area as well. So I had 3rd-degree burns around all that area at the time, and I was sleeping probably 20 hours a day, so dosed up on like OxyContin, which is the highest of highs of painkillers that knock you out for hours and hours. So that definitely helped. Just being dosed up, and I found a lot of I found at the time sleeping was, I guess, my only way out. It's a bit sad, I guess, to think of it now, like as I say it, but and I think I had a strong family behind me, and my mum was always encouraging me to keep going. This is the difference between a cure and relapse, and I think that was in my mindset at the time. I want to make a cure. I don't want to relapse, of course. So I think I got to the 5th week mark, and I pretty much pulled out entirely from the radiation. But at the time, my doctor was quite happy anyway that I got to that point, so it was good. But I think, my main way of, I think, dealing with it was just believing in the power of my mind, and whether religious or not, I believe in God and the universe, so I definitely would tap into that and ask for help. Personally, I found a lot of, help through that as well. So that was probably one of the most horrific parts. And then the second thing would be, I guess, getting towards the end of the treatment. You are so physically weak and physically exhausted and emotionally drained. I think, your head, you're being so, I guess I stayed strong, and a lot of people would stay strong for so long that you get to a point where it's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, how do I continue on? This has gone on way too long. But I think having that finish line kept me going.
I feel like having the finish line is what a lot of people hold on to. Yeah. Because it can be very hard when you're in the midst of treatment, and for a lot of people it's really heavy from the get-go. And so sometimes being in the middle, it's, of course, like the physical pain or the physical side effects, but a lot of it's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. It is that mental drain and exhaustion. And I think seeing the light within the dark, I always try to just look ahead, don't look back. And I think at the time I lived in the future as well. That was my way of dealing with it. And what am I going to do after? This is what I'm going to do. And wow,
wow, I'm going to be so proud of myself. And I think that's what definitely kept me going as well. So,
yeah. Imagining yourself after it all. And
the life after.
So do you know if there are like research trials going on? Were you part of a research trial as part of it, since it doesn't affect many people?
Yeah, I pretty much was a dummy for my doctor to go, as he traveled a lot and he would go around the world, and he told me himself that he actually used how I was going in a lot of conferences and would share my treatment protocol with other doctors. And yeah, I was pretty honoured when I came to the end of it that he was like, your protocol will most likely be used around the world for children who face rhabdomyosarcoma because you beat it. And I was like, that's
amazing. No, that's very beautiful.
Next level awesome.
Yeah.
So there isn't much out there. You search it up and it's pretty dim and grim online. It's a no hope kind of cancer, and you have 2 months to live if you get the cancer. But, you know, there's always stories and positive stuff out of it.
Yeah, for example, you so far, it's been amazing.
And I hope that the research continues to definitely grow, as it is definitely a big hole, I think, within the cancer society, within childhood cancer as well. A lot more research needs to be done, as majority of my chemos and the protocols that he was looking at were from still like around the 80s or 90s. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
So definitely need to get into that. Yeah, I'm very honoured to be part of it.
So I think I'll end the video there. Thank you so much, Maddy, for coming along and talking about your diagnosis and treatment experience. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.